Linda, now she quit, you call me. I always say that. She quit, you call me. Okay, I like you. Leave the bridge good, but those are your words. Mary Kay herself used to tell us in her training that she would rather someone be on the products rather than upset with the consultant and not on the products. So you're going to run across people that sometimes didn't have a good relationship somewhere, and it's okay for you to say, you can do business with me, you can choose. And if you want to choose me, I'd love to take care of you. So that was that question. Okay, then April had a couple of questions. Are you recording this?
Yep.
Yay! I put it on Facebook. Okay, April had a good question. What was your first question, April?
What was my first question? Do you remember what the first one was? Oh, okay. Vendor blender versus holiday open house. Can we take money at the event?
Can we take money at the event? Okay, very important. You cannot be cash and carry at these events. In other words, if I, you want to follow me? If I were having this and they said, I want this, this, and this, and you write up a ticket and you send it home with them. No, you cannot do that, Mary Kay. That's cash and carry. But so what you do want to say is, I can take your order, I can take your credit card, I can take your check, and I will get it to you within 24 hours. Now, what you tell the consumer is this. You don't say, because Mary Kay has all these rules that I have to follow, I cannot do this, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No. You just say to her, you see, it would be very difficult for me to bring my whole office of inventory here. I would be out. I'd be sold out in a couple of hours. And so for me to keep it intact, I'm just going to take your order and I'm going to deliver it to you in 24 hours and I'll have a little gift in there. Your little gift is something like a hand cream sample or a sampler card or something like that. Now, if you're working for a vendor who has required that you be able to have packaged things and they think that you're going to sell them, you just tell them, according to Mary Kay's legal laws, I cannot cash and carry at your event, but I can bring stuff that I will take orders for. So that's how you handle it. You handle it different with them than you do consumer. Does that make sense? I don't want the consumer to be lost in Mary Kay legal world.
Right.
They don't need to know that. They just need to know that you're going to have that product to them in 24 hours. So I just use the excuse, it's kind of hard, and it is, to bring all your stuff with you. You'd be moving in all day. Okay, the next question was?
What was it? Well, if you have one at your house, then you are able to sell.
At your home, you can cash and carry your products. Absolutely. If you're at your home, you can cash and carry your products.
Yes. All your relatives, you can go to any of your relatives.
If you're hosting a party somewhere, that's different. If you're hosting a party somewhere, you can cash and carry because you have a hostess there who has invited her friends there. That is how the American model is set up anyway. I'm talking about if you've paid for a booth somewhere and you're going to set up a table and you have all your cute Mary Kay stuff out there and you paid for that booth. Now you're in the retail world, which is a little different rule, okay? There was another question that you asked about.
I don't remember. I think we covered it with the mix of the vendor blender and expecting to have gifts for sale.
Okay, perfect. Okay, somebody else have a question about vendor events? Okay, let me give you a run through real quick.
I do have a question.
Okay, you have a question.
Okay, if you do not have a strong inventory and not the means to really get inventory quickly, would you suggest we do a vendor event? Or do like an open house,
I
right?
would, and what I would say to them is I am taking orders and I will get that product to you within a week. Because if you go home and place that order that night, you should be able to get your product. And you need to be sure you sell enough that you can do that.
Right.
If you take her money at that event, that product needs to get to her pretty quickly. But absolutely, okay, this is why I do vendor events. I really don't go in to sell a ton of product. Now, I do want to sell a lot of product. My first thing is exposure, exposure, exposure. When you go in and the first one I have next Saturday, there's 90 vendors.
You're not gonna do
My
that.
mission is to meet all 90 vendors.
And take little goodie bags.
Before it starts, to go meet them, to see how they work, what they do, how they do it, see their tables. I will probably buy some of my Christmas stuff while I'm there because I'm going to support them, so they'll support me. I'm kind of the happiest vendor there, kind of thing. Okay, that to me is number one right there. I have a whole room full of people there, and then of course as you're meeting people, I'm getting my name out there. I'm really more concerned with a follow-up facial with them than I am selling Jingle Bell Lip Gloss Trio.
Okay.
Now I love Jingle Bell Lip Gloss Trio, whatever that looks like. I don't know what that looks like yet. and I will sell some of those, coffee and creams, men's skincare things, clear proof. I will sell some of those things, yes, but my number one mission is to have them sign up with me for a complimentary facial. I always take something that I'm going to give away, usually a brush set. And the brush set will sit in there and it's pretty, it's got a bow around it, and I say, if you will fill out this survey, then your name will go into the drawing, and the survey says, part of it is, are you interested in signing up for a Mary Kay facial? Do you want it alone or with friends? And I go off that when I call them. I'll do one drawing, pick a winner, call the winner, yay, 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 you win this. Then everybody else is a winner too. They won either a lip gloss or mascara at their follow-up facial. And I don't call it a follow-up facial when I call the consumer. What I do is I call them, I made a bunch of these calls a day because I did something Saturday. I called and I said, hello, Christy, this is Roxy with Mary Kay. I met you at Food Fest on Saturday. Do you remember that? She goes, oh, yes, you had the cute little table, da-da-da-da. Yes, yes. Well, you signed up. Now, I have to tell you, you weren't the winner of the big brush collection that we give away. However, I am giving all the people who signed up and indicated they wanted to try my products a free mascara if you will give me 15 minutes of your time in the next 2 weeks. Is there a 15 minutes that we could get together and you could get this free mascara or lip gloss, whatever you want to give. I don't really care. And I got, out of probably 10 live people that I actually reached today,
Right.
I got 2 parties booked and 2 facials booked.
Okay.
A couple of people said, no, after all, I'm not interested. Okay, she won the brush set, whatever. But I got some new people and 2 parties because they indicated with friends. So you indicated with friends. I got a really great deal right now. You get half price on, stuff a bag promotion, and they're like, oh yeah, I'd like to do that. What do I need to do? Okay, so that was my follow-up. So I call it consolation prizes. They may have not won the big prize, but they won another prize if they'll get with me. Now, why I say 15 minutes is I have learned over the years, women get a little nervous when you call and say, oh, but you have to do a facial with me to get your free product. There's this backup. They don't know me. They've met me once. So I've learned to say 15-minute consultation. Then, and that's easy. I can do it at break at work. I can do it in your lunch hour. I can do it at your home when you get home. It doesn't matter. 15 minutes for me to show you some new things with Mary Kay or show you what you want to see in Mary Kay. When I get there, I usually find out what they want. They usually say, yeah, I'll try some lipsticks or whatever. So I'll bring that, but I'll say, now, if you've got time, I'd love to do a facial with you. But if you don't, let's just look at these new things. And I would say it's half and half. Some are like, no, I just want to see this. They don't know me yet. I'm building a relationship with them. I go, okay, let's look at the mascaras or the clear proof, whatever they're wanting to look at. But then the other part of me, sometimes they'll say, I really do just need a whole facial. Do you have time? I do have time. Let's get that in. So, but I find if I just say, if you schedule a facial with me, that there's a little nervousness there. So that's how I do that. That's how I do the follow-up. Is 15-minute consultation with me. A lot of times it's a match of foundation. Can I just try matching a foundation with you? Really easy. Okay, so that's kind of the skinny on getting names, following up. The reason I do vendor fairs, I don't go in. My friends that sell jewelry and handbags, and they have these goals of selling $4,000. That is their goal. But my goal is not so much that. I mean, I do want to sell product, but I want long-term customers. I don't want just to sell that little gift basket and be done for the day. I want this customer to buy from me in February, in April, in May, recruit, that kind of thing.
Right.
I'm more interested in that, so it kind of depends on where you're going with that. Okay.
Hey, Roxy.
Yes.
Can we demo product?
Can we demo product? I love that. Yes, you can. Now, you probably don't have running water unless you just got really lucky. So you take a little bottle of water, take some facial cleansing cloths. These are the things that I demo. Hand creams are easy. Energizing foot and leg treatment, easy. Satin hands hard unless you have a sink. Now, if you're at a vendor event, there's a bathroom that they don't mind you using, take one of your team members with you, and y'all take turns taking people to the restroom and doing their hands, or having someone just plant it in there. We did that one year. It was very, very effective. Satin lips is what I demonstrate. Take all your True Dimension lipstick or your Mary Kay clay lips and lip glosses, something that's easy. Little water bottle, which I have over here. She's following around the room. Okay, so water bottle. Cut up your facial cleansing cloths. You say, ooh, we need to take off your lipstick. We're going to try new lipstick, right? So you pour that on there, get their lips wet, put a mask on it, put your balm on it, And then I take the little Q-tips for the the lipsticks and lip glosses, you know, Q-tips that we get from the veterinarians. Go with me? We don't talk about what their purpose is, right? And I spread them out and I start talking to them about True Dimensions. That just True Dimensions is less. I've taken all my lipsticks because it usually draws them in, like, ooh, lipsticks. But I really only want to, I don't want to give them that many choices. Too many choices is consumer. Say, it's a lip stain. And I go, oh, it's a lip stain? It's really not what Mary Kay calls it, it's what I call it. So I just demonstrate those, and if they try that, I tell you, I sold more lipsticks Saturday just because people tried it. And it's really easy, and you kind of, they'll go, well, here, look at this. I mean, we just real quickly, we can just take your lipstick off and try it. What do you think? I mean, what do you like? And they'll go, well, okay. I mean, and then what are you doing? You're building a relationship. You're building a relationship. If she hates it, you take it right back off. So you can demonstrate. It just depends on what you have out there. Anything on the back of the hand, as long as you have some kind of water that you can wash it off with, something like that. Good question, but you can. Okay, another question. Anything else? How to find them? I find them, like I said, LinkedIn is a great place. Google holiday vendor events. You'll be amazed at how much you'll find. You can get Google News to tell you. I have people in Dallas right now that just putting out, hey, I'm looking for holiday vendor events, and they found several. People saying, hey, we need some vendors. Okay, now questions to ask. These are questions to ask. If somebody calls you and says, we're doing a holiday vendor event, would you like to participate? These are my first questions. Number one, is it industry specific? That means, are there already 4 Mary Kay tables there? Because if there is, I'm not coming. It's okay to do that, but you'll get a fourth of the slice of the pie out there going into it. So industry specific though, how many beauty companies are out there? If they say, well, we only take 1 per company, but we have a 3 rule. Okay, that's great. That means they may have Arbonne out there, they may have Beauty Control out there, they may have Avon out there. I'm okay with that as long as there's not 20 of them. And so I just asked them, hey, how many do you have per industry out there? It's like your Scentsy person doesn't want to come if there's 16 candle people out there. Okay, it just takes down their chances of ordering. And so I asked that question, how much is the booth? I rarely pay over $50. Unless they're going to average more than 1,000 in attendance. If it's more than 1,000 in attendance, then I'm going to be worth a $100 table. Mainly because our items that we're selling at a vendor show, you need to sell enough to pay for the table that day, right?
Right.
Profit, not just take in, but you need to. So I always look at that. So if it's $400 like Harrah's is a huge holiday show. So does Overland Park Convention Center. It's $400. Now they have thousands of people through there, but I don't know that selling satin hands and hand creams is going to pull in that kind of revenue, right? So I just don't. Do what you want to do, but my rule is about $50 to $100. Another question to ask is, do they provide tables and tablecloths? I keep this kind of velour. You can get it at the fabric store. I keep this and a couple of tables on hand, and a lot of times if it's $50 or less, you can provide your own table. $100 or more, sometimes they'll have skirting, tablecloths, and a backdrop. Kind of depends. Those are the questions that you need to be asking so you'll know how much carry-in you've got to carry in. What other questions, Willa, do you ask? Do you think of any other questions that you ask whenever?
What size is I always want to know what size the booth
What
is.
size the booth is. That's very important. If you have an 8-foot table, you be sure it's 8 foot wide.
Yeah, you don't want it in 6.
Yeah, and sometimes they only want your table out here, okay? I don't want to be behind my table when I'm doing a booth.
Right.
I can't do that, okay? So what I do when I set up my booth, a lot of them will be set up that way. I set my table to the back of the booth, and then another table to the side, so I have an L, and I'm inside it. Greeting. Hello, my name is Roxy. I'm glad you stopped by. Did you want some candy or your chocolate? May I have chocolate? Okay, I'll give them some chocolate. Are you familiar with Mary Kay? That's the questions I start with. Are you familiar with Mary Kay? Because they're kind of looking a little nervous, but they've gone to holiday vendor events to shop. If you have a festival booth at Gladfest or Fall Festival, they're not sometimes there to shop. They're there with their children. They're kind of looking around. That's why they kind of do this. look at your table. But holiday vendor events are different. Women really are there to shop. And sometimes they have a preconceived notion of what they want, and yours may meet that, may not. I always have candy at my table. They're hungry. Kids are hungry. What?
Another thing I always want to know is how many years they've been doing it, if it's been successful.
Yes. Yes. How many years have they been doing it, and what kind of crowds do they attract, and how many? That's a great question to ask. One of the ones I put together this year, it's going to be their first year. We have no idea.
Is that the one that showed great?
We have no idea exactly what to bring, but sometimes you will have experiments like that. But they can usually tell you an attendance amount that you're looking for. So, any other questions about vendor events and what to do, or how to set up? Anything else that you can think of? I know you've done a ton of them.
You hit most of the things.
Okay.
Ask if they provide a chair.
Ask if they provide chairs. You don't want to get there and not have a chair.
Yeah.
Most of them do. Most of them, a lot of times, will do a table and chairs, but not necessarily your skirting and your tablecloth. And you can get velour so cheap at the fabric store, and I've probably used mine for 5 or 6 years. And you can get 2 of them and bunch one up and get some height going on your table and that kind of thing. And I kind of get it down to a science during the holidays. I know exactly what goes where, how to pack, everything's in it, and I go in and I can set up and I can take down. I love getting that science down of what it's going to take to do that. I always take a mirror, because if you're doing lipstick, there's nothing like, oh, mirror. From experience. Let me get mine out of my compact.
Wait, wipe it off a little bit for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn that way. You're in the light.
If they have an outlet, something that's fun to do is Christmas lights, because you can put the blinking lights along your table. It looks really festive and fun. And so that's another question you can ask is there an outlet? Are you going to charge me for it? Some people do not charge you. Some people will charge you quite a bit for their outlet. You're like, for the outlet, really?
Electricity cheap up here.
I don't think so.
Another thing I've done is get one of those picture frames that flashes pictures.
Oh, digital
And
picture frames?
digital picture frame, and it kind of changes there. And it's kind of my own pictures and then stock photos and stuff of product, and it sort of grabs their attention.
idea.
And you just leave it running.
Don't you have to have
Outlet.
Yes.
Yeah, you would have to.
But don't some of those have batteries
Yes,
though?
I think some are battery operated.
So you have a separate program just for your Mary Kay? It's like ours is all family.
I think they run off of SD cards.
Yeah, you can put it on. Well, it depends on how old yours is or new
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah,
That's
you
what I'm
can
thinking.
put in a card.
That's an excellent idea.
That really is.
Excellent
That really
idea.
is. She's
Pictures
so
of you
clever.
at work, people like that. Like if you have pictures of you doing someone's makeup,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Can you guys not do that with your tablets or your iPhones or what?
Yeah, but I usually need them.
This just sits on the table as part of the
I
just
don't, will I use paper? Sorry.
Okay, y'all had great questions. Okay, what else would you ask? What else do you want to know? She's filming this, so let's.
So you said 2 tables. I've always done 1 table because they charge you per table. So is it more beneficial to have 2 tables?
I think it is, and that's a question to ask. Usually they charge by the space that you're taking up, but I do have my very first one is by the table. It's the first time I've seen that, of how many tables I have to take. So I usually it's usually by space that you're taking up, unless they're providing your table. If they're providing your table, that's how they get their income, is counting tables.
But you could always ask them, if they're providing the table, you're paying for the table, you can always ask, can you bring a small one of your own?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and go from there.
Okay.
And when I got off Connections, there's a couple things on Connections. There's a tablecloth that's got a great Mary Kay logo on it. There is a fold-up table that has Mary Kay on it. It's not real sturdy, but it's great for display, like lipsticks or volume firm or something like that.
The tall one.
The table,
You've seen it
the little
in-
table, and then the long tubular thing. This is Mary Kay.
Yeah.
That attracts people to your booth.
If you weight it down with a mirror, it's great. It's
Yeah.
sturdy enough there.
Yeah. So,
A stand-up mirror is what I use.
yeah. Yeah.
I wondered how those were in person.
I have
I love them.
I have them and I use them all the time.
What is it? What did you ask?
It's the table that they have from
On
the
Connections.
and also the big stand-up thing with your
And y'all, I got
product.
all those by being a star consultant and getting enough money on my star consultant to get them free.
Yes, and the table cover, that's where I got mine too.
Yeah, so you can order those or you can get them for free.
Right.
Okay, any other questions about vendor events or as we get to the holidays? Another thing that I do is I put together about 15 sets of things that I want to sell. The coffee and creams, the, oh gosh,
Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsie Rolls, feathers everywhere.
Helping hands.
Gas gloves, you know, that you put hand cream in the gloves, and a little hand sanitizer with it, big old bow around it. Team colors are good for those. If you do a few K-State, KU, MU, those sell for all kinds of our crazies in the area that follow certain teams. They just do, and you just get your gloves at like a dollar store or a Walmart. They have those stretch fit all. Something that was very popular last year was the texting gloves. I did those. They were very popular. And on the gas gloves, you have a little poem that we put with it that just says, don't pump your gas with your good gloves. Keep these in the car. And after you get through pumping your gas, keep them in the car and put your hand cream on. And so it's just a little poem that we have to go with those. And so it's just kind of a practical stocking stuffer.
I gave that as teacher.
Yeah. I'm the same. And teachers love those. And you want to say that at your open house that these are great teacher gifts because they're all buying teacher gifts. And teachers, and you can point this out to your consumer, teachers have lots of trinkets. Over the years, you think of every little child that brings them a little sign or a little thing to put on their desk, or a little candle. But gloves, when it gets cold, kids forget their gloves. So they put them in a drawer, and when kids forget their gloves or don't have any gloves, they let them use them for the day. And so that's what I always kind of, prompted off, don't get her a trinket, get her something that's very useful. So another thing that was real popular last year, I think that last year used lip teenies.
Oh, yeah.
You get a martini glass, and you put a bunch of pebbles in it, and you put a lip gloss and a lip liner, or a lipstick and a lip liner in it. Sell for $20. Now, we've had a price increase on lipsticks, so I'm going to revisit the price point on that this year. It'll probably be like $22, $24.
They use a glass martini.
Plastic. Glass. And you can get it for about $1 a piece at like Dollar Store, Dollar General.
Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, Hobby Lobby. And you just put a big old Rafa type bow around it, and it looks kind of festive and fun, and just called lip teenies.
Old Time Pottery has a whole bunch of wine glasses and martini glasses, and they're painted. And some are Christmassy, and some are, they have girls on them. They're $3.50, but I sold them last year, and I did satin lips inside, and they were my most popular. That and the gas gloves.
Yeah, satin lips were good. Did you sell them for
$22.
And then I added $3, I think. So I think they were 22 or 23. Like I might have lost 50 cents off of it.
Yeah, and I don't
And if not even
see it
that,
as a
'cause it's
loss
half still.
whenever
Yeah.
they get on a product. So.
We've also talked about, April and I, that to use the tool instead of cellophane.
Yeah.
Wrapping it makes it.
Cellophane rips so easy.
Yeah, tulle is a great thing to wrap up your baskets with a big bow around it. It looks festive. And it travels easy if you're going in and out of vendor events. That cellophane gets all mashed down. Yeah, and you can just, and actually you can kind of help pack your stuff with that tulle, and it helps keep it looking better. So,
I use quite a little bit of net, different.
That's the
ways of
tool.
net.
That's tool.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
the
the same
net.
thing as the
Uh-huh.
tool.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were
Yes.
talking about the nylon.
And then when you get to an event or you're going to an event, I always ask the event coordinators, you can put this on Facebook, because you can get a lot of people to come to that event by posting it, because if they say they're going, then it's on their news feed that they're going, and then their friends that you don't know see it. So I always ask them about this. Sometimes they haven't thought of it. And you're like, well, we're all on Facebook, right? But let's put this on Facebook so we can get it out there. The other thing I ask on that, it's when I get there, a lot of times I'll take a picture and put it on my Facebook page. I'm here. You've probably seen Heather do that too. My picture I took Saturday didn't turn out, so I didn't put it on there. I had a really cute little booth fest table. It was really cute. But anyway, post that you're there, because sometimes we go, oh, I'd like to go out there. Well, it's just more traffic. They tell other people, they tell other people, they tell other people. So that's the whole name of that game. So, any other questions about vendor events? Thank you very much, April, for